Do you ever struggle with self-discipline? Well, number one, if you do, you're not alone. And what I want to explore with you in this video is the myths surrounding self-discipline, what it is actually. Let's take these off so we don't get glare. And what it isn't. And if you understand these myths, how to put them aside, and you learn where discipline really comes from, then you can start to grow in your discipline and get to a point where you might even be able to look back and say, you know, I've become totally self-disciplined. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Peter Schwartz. I'm an NLP trainer and coach. And the reason NLP is because, from my perspective at least, NLP is the most effective way to actually make shifts in your mindset, in your thinking, in your belief system, in the way you feel, in the way you behave. And today we're going to be applying that to this concept of discipline. So the biggest myth around discipline is that it's trait-based. People act as if, and there is in fact some research that studied discipline as if it's something that's inside of us, something that we either are or we are not, some trait that we have or we don't have, and that we have it in limited quantities. And what I'm going to encourage you to do is to set that way of thinking about discipline aside. And in doing so, invite you to start to develop real discipline. The kind of discipline that can become natural, the kind of discipline that can become automatic, and can actually move you closer to your goals. So when we talk about discipline, typically discipline implies that you have to force yourself to either do something or not do something that you find yourself automatically doing in the first place. So in this video, I think we should look into why is it first that I naturally don't do the thing that allegedly I want to do? Why is it naturally that I'm not taking action towards my goal? Because if we understand the mechanisms, the laws of the nervous system, the laws of the mind that have already created this quote-unquote lack of discipline, and then we can use those instead to create the behaviors and results you want, you're going to find yourself behaving in a way that we would call discipline. So in order to understand this, the real key insight is about the core of human motivation. The absolute core of human motivation comes down to what we refer to in NLP as values. Now in NLP, values are different than the way other people talk about values. When I say value, or when you hear another neurolinguistic programmer talk about values, what I'm referring to are experiences that are important for us to move towards or for us to move away from. The carrot and the stick, right? So for example, a towards value might be success, it might be love, it might be happiness, it might be peace, it might be freedom, achievement, feeling accomplished. An away from value might be failure, loneliness, rejection, embarrassment, right? When you understand that in any given moment, our values, the experiences that are important for us to have, are either moving us towards an experience or away from an experience, or perhaps even both at the same time, depending on how things are set up, then we understand the crux, the absolute core of human motivation. So then we can look at the areas in your life where you're not motivated, where you lack discipline, where you procrastinate. So for example, somebody says they want to go to the gym, but they don't go. They procrastinate. More often than not, they have habituated, habituation meaning they have made an unconscious, automatic, associative habit in their nervous system that is associating more of an away from value with going to the gym than a towards value, right? And this also tells us why people struggle or have on-off series of motivation. They're motivated for a little, and then as soon as they start to make progress, their motivation dips. So for example, in weight loss again, you also see this with salespeople and in other contexts as well. If the person is motivated away from a certain set of values, but they become uncomfortable enough with the result they're getting, they will become motivated enough to change their behavior. So for example, salesperson is broke, they get motivated to make money, they make a little bit of money, the motivation is gone because the pain that they're trying to move away from, their core motivation, moving away from being broke, is now diminished because their money has increased. So in this instance, the motivation diminishes the more success they have. Whereas if that same person is moving towards success, abundance, etc., that motivation can grow and compound over time. So if we look at the person who's struggling with weight loss, right? And going to the gym is a burden for them. They're associated to the pain of working out, to the exhaustion, to having to find their gym clothes. They've associated to away from values. And that's why it takes discipline, because they have to force themselves to overcome pain in order to get themselves to take action. Now, I'm going to put it to you that when we look at people who we claim are motivated, who we claim are disciplined, even if we take a guy like Jocko Willink, right, and he has that fantastic book, Discipline Equals Freedom. Well, listen to the language. Discipline equals freedom. Freedom is a towards value, most likely the way he's using it, if I had to guess. So he has associated in his neurology that doing these activities brings me freedom. So in order for you to make a shift, in order for you to create the quote-unquote discipline that you want to have in your life, we have to shift at the level of your neurology, literally embodied neural pathways of taking that action feels good. And my favorite way of doing this, there's many, my favorite way is the Beyond Goals model. Credit to John Oberdorf for this, because it goes beyond the traditional NLP change work, present state, desired state model. So in a traditional NLP coaching pattern, you would say, okay, person, the present state is they're feeling unmotivated. And then you would elicit a state of motivation. And then you would attach it to the context, which can work. That can absolutely work. But in Beyond Goals, we get the values, the towards values that achieving the goal will give you. So for example, if there's an area of life right now where you want to have more discipline, what is it that having the discipline would do for you, get for you? What would allow you to feel ultimately, right? And you want to get to a positive state. So for example, if it's going to the gym and you get to a place in your mind of, well, I'd be healthy, I'd be energetic, I would be feeling more attractive. Then what we do with an NLP coaching model is we get you to attach those emotions to the activity of going to the gym, right? So we can say something like, and as you're feeling those emotions, thinking about going to the gym, how are you motivating yourself to go to the gym? How will you be knowing that you're moving towards healthy, energetic, being more attractive? And then the resource state that would give you the discipline will turn on. You'll get determined, you'll get excited. And so what you can do quite literally with NLP, and this is why it's so much easier to become disciplined with NLP than it is, in my opinion, with anything else, is because you're working with the laws of your nervous system already. And you can elicit the states, the very core of your human motivation, that will make the activity rewarding so that you find yourself naturally engaging in that behavior more and more on an ongoing basis. If you're interested in training NLP, if you're interested in getting NLP coaching, go ahead and click the link below and sign up for a discovery call. I'll see you in the next video.